All right, hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hershkovich. I'm the Business Development Manager for Amazon Translate. Amazon Translate is a state-of-the-art neural machine translation service on AWS that allows faster and more cost-effective localization of content. Now, content localization poses a different challenge in every business segment. In media and entertainment, for example, it's usually associated with the translation of video captions into multilingual subtitles, while capturing the original intent of the director or the speaker, which is a challenge by itself. Earlier this year, we've launched a real-time subtitling solution on AWS that allows you to create subtitles in real time using AI services such as Amazon Transcribe, Amazon Translate. But more often, AI is working side by side with humans, helping subtitle production people produce subtitles faster and better. And today, I'm honored to be joined by Jenny and Helena from TED that are going to talk about how TED uses artificial intelligence to spread ideas farther and faster. Helena? We'll open with a short video that they prepared. Enjoy.
This guy is amazing.
So there you have it, a blueprint of coexistence for humans and AI.
We're connecting with something important.
Give voice to the story only you know how to tell.
Imagine what kind of existence we can have if we appreciate the privilege of life.
Let's explore from a brand new perspective.
Just how ingenious, how flexible the human mind is.
There is no end to the inspiration.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Udi, for the introduction. It's great to be here. I'm Helena, Deputy Director of TED Translators, and for this first part of our presentation, I'm going to share some background on our program and the challenges we face, and then we'll have our director, Jenny, come on stage to share how we are utilizing AI to solve these challenges. So, TED is a nonprofit organization, and since 1984, our mission has been to find the world's most inspired thinkers and give them a platform to share an idea that can have large-scale, meaningful impact. To date, TED Talks have been viewed over 14 billion times and receive hundreds and millions of views every month on TED's platforms and global distribution channels. Each year, TED's international audience continues to grow, especially on our mobile apps, where we've seen our international user base expand across Asia, Europe, and Latin America. People watch TED Talks to get inspired and to learn more about the things that can change them and the world in a positive way. Now, the first time I ever watched a TED Talk was in 2009 during a communications class in university. We were watching Swedish physician and statistics guru Hans Rosling showing global trends on health and economics in probably the most stunning and engaging way I've ever seen. Let's take a look at the short clip from his talk.
Or have these developing countries got smaller families and they live here? Or have they got longer lives and live up there? Let's see, we start the world. And this is all UN statistic that has been available. Here we go. Can you see there? It's China. They're moving against better health. They're improving there. All the green Latin American countries, they are moving towards smaller families. The yellow ones here are the Arabic countries, and they get larger families, but longer lives, but not larger families. The Africans are the green down here. They still remain here. This is India. Indonesia is moving on pretty fast. And in the 80s here, you have Bangladesh still among the African countries there. But now Bangladesh, it's a miracle that happens in the 80s. The imams start to promote family planning, and they move up into that corner. And in 90s, we have the terrible HIV epidemic that takes down the life expectancy of the African countries, and all the rest of the world moves up into the corner where we have long lives and small family, and we have a completely new world.
As a student, his talk blew my mind. It really shifted my whole perspective on global development. And I remember thinking, why aren't all of our lectures in university this eye-opening and engaging? Maybe I would have remembered more today. So many TED speakers like Rosling deliver their talks in English. And to make those talks available to people in other languages, TED launched the TED Translators program. TED Translators are an online global community of volunteers who translate TED Talks into more than 100 languages. Our mission is to connect non-English speakers, who make up 80% of the world's population, to inspiring ideas and knowledge. And what's interesting about the program is that the idea of crowdsourcing translations actually arose from the crowd itself. We had passionate viewers sending us complete translations they created in order to share talks with their friends and family. And so recognizing a need and also an opportunity to radically open accessibility, TED developed a framework to allow volunteers to translate their favorite talks into any language. Let's hear from the volunteers.
Hi, I'm Nelson.
I'm Mario.
I'm Stefania.
I'm Kali. We are TED Translators.
We are part of a massive crowdsourced community of volunteers
in 160 countries,
translating TED Talks
into over 100 languages.
We connect people to world-changing ideas across languages and borders.
Our work is seen on TED.com and on media platforms around the world.
I translated Pope Francis into Brazilian Portuguese.
I translated Mac Bonnet into Italian.
I translated Niti Ban in Swahili.
Join our global community.
Gain real-world experience.
And help spread great ideas around the world.
Mimi ni mkalimani wa TED.
Sono una traduttrice per TED.
Eu sou tradutor do TED.
We are TED Translators.
Visit TED.com/translate to learn more.
Now, sounds great, but why do people volunteer as translators, you may wonder? Well, volunteers often sign up after they watched a talk that resonates with them so deeply, they feel compelled to share it with other people who may not speak English. Sometimes they want to share with someone specific in their life. For instance, the Dekkers, an Israeli couple who translates TED Ed lessons for their 2 daughters to watch in the classroom. Other volunteers have broader audiences in mind, like Mahmoud, who translates into Arabic so that people in war zones like Syria, where Mahmoud is from, can access knowledge and ultimately find hope. TED Translators are driven by a commitment to accessibility. They believe knowledge should be made available to regardless of where you live or what language you speak. And because of that, they bring TED to places where we can't always have a physical presence. They in a way, they allow they give us a global voice. They allow the TED brand to be globally recognized as a relevant, engaging, and trusted source of information. Now, Rosling's talk was translated into over 50 languages, giving hope to millions of people around the globe that there might be a healthier and more prosperous future for us all. This year, we're celebrating TED Translator's 10-year anniversary, and over the past 7 years, I've had the opportunity to work alongside our director, Jenny, and a small dedicated team to help grow and develop this passionate community. And today, there are over 30,000 volunteers spread around 160 countries who contribute their time, energy, and expertise to help ideas spread more freely. Now, currently, our translation workflow looks like this. On average, it takes between 5 to 10 hours to accurately translate a TED Talk. And then the translation needs to get reviewed, peer-reviewed, and approved for publication, which requires several hours apiece. Last year, TED Translators created over 18,000 subtitles, and just to give you an idea, that translates to roughly 200,000 hours of work, of typing work. Even Kevin's shocked. Our volunteers explain that it requires research, extensive research, and deep understanding of a topic to accurately translate it. In addition to translating what the speaker is saying, volunteers must also translate how the speaker is saying it, and in other words, the style of the speaker. It's truly an art, trust me. I've done it in the beginning as well. And we have a little bit more about that from our translator, Shadia.
When you work on a translation, you get to learn a lot about the subjects you're working on, because you have to look for the concepts and you have to understand them in order to convey the exact meaning of what the speaker is saying. So working on TED Talks has helped me not gain mastery over something, but at least understand it better, so I can talk about it better.
So it's an art, but that being said, there is also a repetitive, tedious part of the translation process, like translating common words and sentences. Imagine if that part could be automated. Then volunteers could spend more time on the creative part of translating. And so a key challenge we face is reducing the amount of time it takes for volunteers to create subtitles, while TED is releasing more and more content each year. Now, we know that the majority of views on newly published content happen in the first several hours after posting online. And so being able to reach as many viewers as possible in that window is truly key to making sure our international audiences have access to new, relevant content. And the length of time it takes to publish subtitles also impact the translator community's motivation and growth. Basically, the longer it takes to publish a translation, not only do we miss out on potential views in different languages, but we also make it more difficult to retain translators whose work is awaiting approval. So again, a key challenge is reducing the amount of time it takes for our volunteers to create subtitles. And at the same time, the amount of video content TED releases each year has grown substantially. New types of events and content formats, as well as more than 3,000 independently organized events, TEDx events happening every year. Now, produce roughly 20,000 videos per year. And to give you an idea, this year alone, TED's volunteer translators need to subtitle over 300,000 minutes of video content. And next year, we expect translators will need to subtitle 30% more in the growing TED library. To be able to reach global audiences with this new content, we need to find ways to enable our volunteers to translate even more content. So we asked ourselves, how can we get volunteers to translate more content faster? We already know our volunteers are willing to spend hours of their time each week translating TED Talks. So what if we could make that time more productive for them? What if instead of translating one talk, they can subtitle 2 or 3 talks in the same amount of time? And here to tell us how we plan to do that, we have our director Jenny to share her vision for expanding TED's global reach of ideas.
As Helena mentioned, our challenge is to subtitle a growing amount of video faster than ever before. To do this, we turned to technology. Specifically, we wanted to see if incorporating machine transcription and translation into our workflow could help our volunteers subtitle talks faster. To test this idea, we developed a proof of concept with Udi and his team at Amazon Transcribe and Translate. Instead of starting subtitles from scratch, our volunteers would begin by editing machine-generated subtitles. We asked a team of TED translators in 5 languages to subtitle talks covering a range of subjects. To evaluate this proof of concept, we developed a survey to measure results in 3 categories: time saved per talk, quality, and accuracy. We asked volunteers how much time, if any, they saved per talk, and to rate different aspects of the machine drafts, everything from sentence structure to punctuation, meaning, and more. And here are the results. On average, our volunteers subtitled talks 30% faster. And the time savings increased the more familiar they became with editing machine drafts. 75% of participants said the drafts were of good quality. And 90% of participants said the machine-generated words were usable the majority of the time. The most common suggestion from volunteers was to apply greater context within machine translations. This would help improve accuracy. For example, in one talk, the English word mortar, as in war, was machine translated into mortar, as in bricks. While I'm all for soldiers who mason, this clearly changes the message that's communicated. So looking at these results, what were our key takeaways? Well, we determined that our volunteers can successfully subtitle talks faster when they use machine transcriptions and translations. And the quality of machine drafts is good enough that a significant amount can be used without much modification. Here's what a couple of our volunteers had to say about their experience editing machine drafts. It was very helpful to start a translation with machine-generated draft. It was like reviewing a volunteer's translation. Much better than I expected. Surprisingly accurate most of the time. When it's wrong, it's usually because it doesn't appreciate the context or use of a metaphor. So machine drafts are a great way to accelerate subtitling. But humans still play an essential role. In fact, machine drafts bring into sharp relief just how crucial humans are when it comes to communicating ideas to other humans. They ensure the speaker's message is accurate, they convey emotion, and ultimately, they ensure the speaker's message connects with the audience. So how can we apply these takeaways to actually impact the global reach of ideas? Well, we know that by pairing humans with AI, it's possible to subtitle talks much, much faster. So in 2020, our goal is to publish 5 translations the day a talk goes live. We know this is when talks get the most traction, and publishing just 5 major languages could increase our potential audience 6-fold. This would dramatically expand TED's reach so more people than ever could access groundbreaking ideas. But how do we get to that point? Well, first we need to integrate with a service like Amazon Transcribe and Translate, so our volunteers can begin our process by editing machine drafts. Along with providing enhanced technology, we need to incentivize our volunteers to strive towards shorter turnaround times. The faster subtitles get published, the greater the impact they have. Within the first year of implementing this solution, we expect to triple the number of subtitles we publish in a year. That would take us from 18,000 per year to 54,000 per year in just 12 months. We also project subtitle creation time will decrease by 40%. Volunteers tend to become more motivated when they see their subtitles published faster. And we believe they'll stay more engaged when they're working with technology that allows them to spend more time on creativity. So with this increased motivation and engagement, we think we can double our volunteer retention in year 1. The more active, engaged volunteers there are, the more content gets translated. 10 years ago, I helped launch the TED Translators program. And ever since, I've been looking for ways that technology can advance our mission. I've seen a lot of really bad machine translations over the years. And to have reached a point where machine learning can demonstrably enhance our process is something that's personally very exciting to me. That means more people than ever will be able to access ideas like the potential to cure PTSD with light and neural implants, or commercial rocket travel to fly you across the globe in 30 minutes, and maybe even Mars. With the power of TED Translators and AWS technology, we can spread extraordinary ideas like these farther and faster than ever before. Thank you.